then from there on, you can, I'm sure the research would kick off and then get accelerated. And to talk about once again, I think sometime back I had texted you, I had sent you a WhatsApp audio message summarizing the meeting with Professor Rama Matthew ma'am, and she was quite appreciative about the nature of the research that we are presently carrying and how unique it makes, and it is quite substantial in nature as well. It has novelty too, from several dimensions. If you view, it will be they have pinned their hopes. The British Council also is quite confident that the outcomes of our research are going to be quite fruitful and then novel in nature, because, as I mentioned, one factor is the diversity, the heterogeneity in the subjects that we have chosen, the teachers, the TRs who are also hailing from other languages other than language teachers. So that's an adventurous a dimension to the project, I believe, as opposed to what we have done. So that is a primary point where we are working with teachers other than English, like we have social sciences teachers. We have, I'm told we also have a Telugu teacher, a language teacher. So that's really commendable, the kind of enthusiasm that you are showing in teaming up with the project. And there are hiccups. I understand some of you couldn't respond. And we've been asked about the kind of challenges. Every time they're patient enough to hear from us the challenges that we face, and we have to be honest, and we have to work with high levels of integrity and transparency. So we had to admit that, yes, there is sometimes laxity on part of but I'm sure during this journey, though it's just a short period of 2 to 3 months left to go, maybe, 3 to 4 months, but I'm sure it will leave an enriching experience. It will be an enriching experience to all of you, whatever stages you are in, because that is how research is. The researchers innate characteristic feature is that at the end of your journey, of course, it's unending. We could never say that this is a start. There could be different starting stages, but then there is never an ending point. It evolves and evolves and evolves. Like, this should trigger you to take up another research, or to become more confident, to mentor others, or to think innovative ways in your classroom. So the advantages are numerous in nature. I'm sure you will experience all these at the end of this project, though it's short term in nature. But then, as I said, some couldn't really figure out what they had to work on. But still, by listening to your other teams, today's event will definitely, by evening, I'm sure the inputs that would be shared as part of this orientation program would definitely motivate you, help you complete your, help you decide on the research question. So the research questions that were planted, like that were shared on the Google sheet, Excel sheet also has been shared with Professor Rama Matthew ma'am, and she randomly selected and looked at some of the questions. But then she had a very specific and quite valid question. How did the teachers arrive at that question? How did, like, for instance, one of the teacher researchers mentioned that they would work on vocabulary building. So how did you arrive? How did the teachers arrive at it? That was a primary and quite probing question that was raised by Professor Rama Matthew. Then we had to explain that the core team had to explain that, they are just, they are yet to finalize. So even the questions vaguely that were identified, the research questions that were identified by you now, or even earlier, they still have a scope for uh, refinement. You can give it a thought, second thought, or you can give a serious thought, and then you can probably fine tune it post, this day, after you fill in the Google form. And the purpose of today's orientation program would also help you in formulating, modifying, adapting, or expanding the research questions that were already framed. So as I said, they were quite appreciative and about the outcome of the research or the project that we would complete shortly, because of the novelty, your involvement, and the kind of experienced team that we have. So as opposed to other two team members, I think we stand apart, and we stand ahead. We stand ahead in terms of the research that is happening. So they were pretty aware of this fact, and they also confided in us in granting us this project, and we have to live up to their expectations, I believe. And when we talk about research, yeah, to talk about research, as I said, it is highly evolving. It is creative in nature, and mm, it's already there, like existent. Research, while you work on something, the problem exists, but then you give a kind of you transform it, you mold it to depending on the circumstances, the context, and the kind of students that you work with. So every uh, research question is different. Every teacher researcher's experience is unique. It is going to be unique because you're going to work with a group with different levels of understanding, with different levels of thinking. So I'm sure that way, yeah, you should always, be cognizant of this fact that, research is always evolving, though it is immeasurable at times. You cannot weigh and then judge that this is what I've learned having joined the project immediately. But then over a period of time, you will really understand the value of it, and then you will take pride in it. So don't just look at it. My ultimate uh, suggestion would be, don't expect the outcome immediately, instantly, but then it will definitely have a constructive impact individually. It will help you to grow professionally, and also yeah parallelly help the students learn. You'll be contributing to your own school, your own teaching community, by identifying the best practices. So this research should lead in improving the methodology that you adapt in your schools, be it teaching, reading, writing, speaking, and also expose you to numerous resource books. I'm sure most of them, or so far whatever we have received, we have been sharing with you all the material. So they are shortest in nature, they're quite interesting, and yeah, they're appealing and relevant. More importantly, there is no resource book that I found to be futile in nature. Every resource book shared by the British Council team appears to be apparently useful and highly resourceful. So I wanted you to tap those and also apply them in your classroom. So you have to have that kind of passion. I'm sure you're all passionate, but for those of you who have setbacks, I'm trying to once again kind of ignite that kind of flair in you to continue to work and to work better. So view it from multiple purposes, multi-objective in nature. Yeah, it is definitely multi-objective in nature. So it should help you to groom, to think better, to teach. If you identify a problem, for instance, you realize that in the process of employing multilingualism in the classroom, you find that, there are many setbacks because it is quite uh, new. It is adventurous, of course. We are venturing into a new realm, which earlier we were familiar with bilingualism, but then multilingualism is thoroughly a new concept. And yeah, adequate research has gone into it, but not, you know, not many. Very few researchers are working at school level on multilingualism. So it is just in a nascent stage and it is highly evolving. So when you view, now narrow down your research to multilingualism, then later you can extend it to teaching language skills. But initially, how do you create a multilingual classroom and what strategies should you adopt? What method should you adopt? And you should have a purpose on mind as teachers. You have to have a planning, a serious planning, a thorough planning in teaching a particular element, lesson if you plan, or lesson titled so and so, or a poem titled so and so. So how do I bring in this multilingual resources to my classroom? If you consider this, if you are trying to explore multilingual resources to teach something in a focused manner, so you write down whatever it is, like you make brainstorming ideas. So you discuss with your team members, with your colleagues, or you have a plan as a researcher, as an individual. How am I going to teach this? How am I going to start? So the plan that you have, the vague plan, or your mind is blank without any ideas. So whatever stage you are in, these resources would be of immense help to you. I think the last time when I did I think that was a webinar kind of, I was addressing all of you, and I took a kind of lecture interactive session on one of the, yes, you could enable my sharing the screen. So I was talking to them about using these resources to teach language skills and otherwise also. And I was also sharing on my screen the certain excerpts from these resource books. So that the title of the talk was Multilingual Research, role of teacher researchers in mentoring students at school level. So what is that teacher researchers should do in mentoring them? In mentoring the teacher researchers as well as students, how to approach students with a, that's called a they have this, they go through this concept of, there is a term called language divide. Like we have digital divide. So researchers have used this term. Did you allow me to share my screen?
Madam, you can share.
Is my screen visible to you?
Madam, you can share. I will.
All right, I'll do that. Yeah, that's called double divide. I'll just complete this and then share my PPT with you.
Otherwise, you share it to me, ma'am. I will see. Multiple participants can share. Okay. Madam, you can share now.
All right. Yeah, just check if the screen is visible.
Wait, madam, sir. Showing the net connectivity. ఇంతకుముందు ఏదో ఉంది కదా ఇది పాస్వర్డ్ నేను NITW కనెక్ట్ అయ్యి NIT అంటే స్లో ఉన్నట్టున్నది అందుకే నేను ఈవెంట్స్ షేర్ చేయనా అని
So sometime back,
మేడం వెయిట్ ఒకసారి అది చెప్పరా స్లాష్ T capital @ DMN $7. Okay. Madam, wait 1 minute, madam. Madam, now you can continue.
So last time, I am sure half of you or a handful of you would have attended this session online. Yeah, this was a month and a half ago. So I was focusing on some of the aspects, theories, elements related to research, again, action research, exploratory research, mentoring, concept of mentoring, and also what multilingual approach is. So it's definitely a novel approach, a novel domain that we have ventured and we have chosen. And it is going to be tough initially because a lot of research has not gone into it, especially in Indian context. So you will become the torchbearers, kind of. Whatever work you do, whatever topic that you choose to help students improve, so that will become a precedent for your juniors or aspirants to work on multilingualism. And all this is going to be captured in the form of notes. Reviews are happening regularly. Reviews, bi-monthly reports need to be submitted. So recently we did submit, and I'm glad and I thank all the core team members and also mentors and teacher researchers who have worked on it, who had to submit the summary of the meetings that were held in the past and the stages where they are in. So that really helped us in submitting the progress of the overall project to the British Council. So likewise, the kind of research that you do in creating multilingual classrooms, in armoring yourself, in equipping yourself to teach students using multilingualism. So all this is going to be recorded, and we would be, it's a kind of initial research, and it is going to have a great impact, lasting impact, I'm sure it's going to have, with the kind of findings and your journey of completing this research would yield a lasting impact. So I focused on I hope the screen is visible now. Concepts like demystifying research and multilingualism approach and double divide, mentoring and motivation, then types of research, etc. These were some of the topics that were covered. Just ensure that, the kind of, before you decide on the research question, you have thoroughly reviewed the existing literature or the books or the material.
Madam, we cannot see your screen.
All right, let me once again share.
The screen.
మేడం షేర్ అయితే లేదు కదా
Just check and confirm. It's
Madam,
fine.
you share it in WhatsApp group, madam. Then it
Mm.
might be the slow. Your side network is slow. It is not shared properly.
We are getting a message that the started sharing screen.
But we
But we
are
cannot see the screen.
It's paused. It's showing that it is paused.
reshare, madam. Otherwise, you can send to me WhatsApp group and I will share.
I'll do that. All right, I'll just close this and then.
Madam, okay. Have you
Did
shared
you-
it to me?
I'm doing it. Just give me a minute. Just a minute. please. Copy. Do you want me to post it on BC LTA team?
Yes, ma'am. You can.
Yeah, I just did that. Is the screen still visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So,
Which screen? Which slide, madam? Number?
no, the first one. I think now you can view it as well on my laptop. Now is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. I have shared, madam. WhatsApp. From WhatsApp, I have shared that PPT.
All right. So we were looking at all these. You can just go through them, glance through. Now I would only look at certain key aspects of this PPT, types of research, and then double divide, terms like double divide and multilingualism. So I'm sure by now you would have understood what a multilingual classroom is. Multilingual classroom is a multilingual classroom is one in which there are students who know and how to use two or more languages in their home or community. And multilingual classroom also provides an opportunity for students to learn two or more languages. So let us not confine only to two languages. There can be a scope for this again a new revelation, I feel. A student, Telugu speaking student may want to learn Tamil as well. This is something interesting which we have not, deliberated on. So ultimate goal is to help them improve their language skills. The use of multilingual languages should help student master language, of course, undeniably. But then during this journey of the students interacting, listening to students speaking in other languages, or displaying quotation in Tamil, Hindi, and English, for example, and Telugu as well. So that can motivate other learners. That prompt will be germinated in the mind of the students. Maybe at a later stage, if not immediately, 5 years or 10 years down the line, the student may want to improve even Tamil, acquire Tamil language for various purposes. So it can trigger, there is a possibility. Now, these are all kind of findings which would be highlighted in pursuit of your research. So when I say multilingual classroom, of course, you're providing an environment for the students to learn through other languages, to learn English through other languages, to understand English better through other languages. So what environment should you create? So signboards, so the resource books would be very helpful to you, which have already been shared. And as I said, I would also like to talk about, in 5 minutes, I think I will conclude since it's lunch time. It's already 1:30. So I would want you to look at the slide on double divide. I think it's on slide 9. So researcher Ajit Mohanty refers to double divide as when students from minority language communities are excluded from both the state or regional language community and from English. So one example of this is Hindi, which despite not being formally recognized as national language in India, enjoys privileged status. So this is with special reference to students coming from, with whose mother tongue is, from a minority language community. So this is another concept which I thought you must learn. So I'm alerted to kind of wind up. So it's just, I thought I'll just talk to you generically, not focusing on any special aspect. But then before I conclude in 2 minutes, I would also like to talk to you about the concept of communities of practice. So research on one side, mentoring on other side, and then multilingual classrooms, preparing for multilingual classrooms, preparing research questions. This is all one side of the coin. The other side is, again, it's a new territory, community of practice or communities of practice. This 20th, we have been asked, Warangal team has been asked to take the lead and then make a presentation on what a community of practice is. So it basically talks about, we are doing it in a way, what we are doing presently, teaming up, sharing our challenges or finding a solution to a challenge, etc. So people from one common profession interact, meet, discuss and fulfill all these purposes, like they find a solution to it, or they talk about their reflective practices, what they do. So my reflective practice, what I do in my class, might become their turning point or takeoff point for your research. So common people, it could happen to any other profession, not necessary that it has to be only restricted to language teachers, but communities of practice, it's a new phenomenon. Of late has been gaining momentum. And it is important that we know what the term is and what our role is. So on 20th, I will be talking more about this. I feel I request that all of you participate. It is going to be online. So take time off. It's scheduled in the evening, I think 6 to 7. Once again, we are going to post the details of the topic and the timings. So please do participate in it. Please do attend to this talk by me on 20th evening on communities of practice. So they are also indirectly connected to the present research that you're going to do. So later you can more precisely focus or interact, form communities of practice, and then once in a while and strengthen your research. So due to paucity of time, if the time permits, probably, then I would like to continue post-lunch session. Or else, I once again thank the core team members for their active participation and initiation in convening this orientation program, pulling up all the teachers from various places, from Hyderabad, from Warangal and Karimnagar districts. And thank you all for coming all the way to NIT Warangal to strengthen your research. And I wish you all a fruitful time post lunch, and do complete all the pending tasks, filling in the Google Forms and formulating your research questions. So wish you all a good time. Once again, thank you, and my best wishes to all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. And you see, from participant side, the video is shared with you. And thank you, ma'am, for your talk. Thank you very much. And now, post-lunch session, Lakshman sir is going to take, ma'am. So by that, thank you very much for your time, sparing time with us.
Yeah.
And we'll continue all the remaining talk.
Sure.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, I will log off then. Thank you all once again. Bye.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you.